Welcome back to the channel. We are continuing on with our sheetrock, mud, and tape. We are got the first coat in most of the rooms, and we still have a few more rooms to go, and then we'll sand it down and start doing that again. So let's get started, and we'll see what we can get done here as far as mud and tape. It's just going to be a long process. That's one thing I have noticed is I started out really slow, and even though I'm picking up speed and developing my skills as I go, this is still a slow process. All right, well, we got quite a bit done. My helper is gone for today to go take care of our dog because he's too much trouble when he's by himself. He gets into mischief. So we might bring him out tomorrow. I'm not sure yet, but we're going to continue on. We got all the lower stuff done while she was here. I managed to get the Easy Sand 45 in the spaces that needed it. And so that, as she calls it, the Bondo. We got the Bondo in, and we've got the lower halves done. So now we'll start working on all the corners and the upper stuff and the ceiling. Well, it's been about an hour, and all the Bondo is dried. I call it that, but it's the Easy Sand 2445. But I've got all that done. All the gaps and seams are filled. All the individual screw holes are filled, and now we're going to get to taping the roof or the ceiling here, which is it's a little messy because stuff drops all over. I mean, you can see I'm a little messy. Anyway, we will get busy with that. We'll show you the difference in technique versus the first round, and I'll see if I can get this on video to show you the kind of the difference here. So this is the first round, and you can see there's some edges in here. There's some edges, and then with my second coat here, you can see that everything's starting to feather out pretty evenly all the way across. So I think I'm getting close to it, but only time's going to tell here. I'm going to let this dry out and see what it looks like. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going here and see what I get. But I'm kind of thinking I'm going to need a few coats of this stuff just to make sure it's all even. We'll see about sanding in between all these. I'm just going to kind of go with it and see. But it's a learning curve for sure. I'm definitely not a skilled taper and mudder and finish guy, but I certainly will be building my skill as I'm practicing here. This has turned out to be a slower progress than the original tape and mud, for sure, because they're trying to make sure that there's no, dirt and stuff in the mud, and trying to make sure the seams are clear. But I got the ceilings done, and I got all of the rips done along the middle here. I'm still working on the corners. Again, we're just handling for today one side of it. So let that dry, and then I'll come back and do the other side tomorrow. That's what's making it so time consuming. But I got the bedroom here done, and then I managed to get the small toilet done, and then the bathroom vanity. Still have to do the closet and the shower, but we'll just keep working along in here and see if we can get this side of the house done. I'm going to move over and knock out some stuff in the kitchen before we move to the ceilings in there, so we can get at least the belly band trims done and get that drying so that we can continue on. I already did some of the butt boards and got those completed in the kitchen. As you will see here, take a look at this. But this is slow work. Either my technique's really off, or I'm being too anal about it. But again, I got all the butt boards done where things butted together, and then same thing in the ceiling, got that done. So now I'll get these wall trims done, and so we can again let that dry overnight before we come back and start knocking some stuff out tomorrow morning. right, so I'll get this done. That's the second coat on there. I'll wait and let that dry. And then I'll let the butt boards here dry on the ceiling, and I'll hit that again later, the tops. All right, well, we're back at it this morning. I've learned quite a bit. It took some time and looked at what I did yesterday as far as the second coat went. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with it. It's pretty smooth and even. I don't feel much lines in here, but I learned some different techniques I'm going to try today and see if we can make this a little bit better process. I'm switching up to a different type of mud. I'm going back to the taping light instead of the all-purpose. It seems to be not as thick and it's hard to work with, so we'll go with that, and we'll just keep going. The other thing that I learned in my research yesterday is that on the corners here, when you're doing the corners, is to do one side first, let that dry, and then do this next side. That'll keep from having to keep going back and forth with the trowel and the mud. So we'll give that a run as well. But let's mix up some mud and we'll start continuing on with our second taping. Well, as you can see, I'm got my new designer clothes on. This is all custom mud work. Like I said, that stuff, when you're working with that, I don't know what it is. I'm sure I would be cleaner if I was a professional, but that's not the case. Anyway, I just am wearing more, and most of it's coming from the ceilings and some of the other stuff I'm doing, but new designer wear. But we'll get ready mixing some mud here. All right, there you have it. We are ready to go, and we'll start this process. Well, one thing is for sure, what I learned from yesterday's experiment is that less is more. I got this part of the wall done in the vanity area, the master bathroom, and we'll start working on this part right here. And we'll see if we got a little bit different technique down than we did yesterday anyway. Now it's going on a little bit better, but I think, well, we'll just keep playing with it and see what we get. Well, even though we're right in the middle of taping and doing all the rest of these rooms, this part up here I'm not very happy with. You can see this triangle right here, it's not right, and then you have this right there that's all jacked up. So I'm having the sheetrock guys come back that did the house, and I'm having them fix that part, simply to make it easier to mud and tape, and do that when we get to the center part of this room. But they should be here shortly, and we'll get that going. But in the meantime, we'll just keep mudding. Well, you can see the significant difference. They got this part repaired here. They repaired the triangle right here that was all damaged and beat up. And we kind of retrimmed one of the lines here, which was pretty cool. And then they also did my attic access and trimmed that out too, which is pretty fantastic. I hadn't planned on that, but they went ahead and did that anyway. So pretty cool. We managed to get quite a bit done with that, and so we'll get back to mud and tape. Well, when I built the shower, I left it open. I thought it would be kind of cool to have that open, but I really don't like the look of it. And so we put out a survey to all of you viewers to answer whether we should, set it as high as this door, which would bring it down to here and close this off, or leave it open. And we've had kind of a mixed bag of conversation about it, but overall I think what we're going to do is just go ahead and close this in. Overwhelmingly, that was the consensus, and kind of how I feel as well. I like it and it's unique, but again, I'm not too keen on it, so it looks kind of off to me. So anyway, we're going to have to build a header, non-load bearing header here, and then sheetrock on both sides. So we've got some work to do there, so we'll get started with that. We've got that all framed out. Now we just have to do the cut out the sheetrock for it, and then we'll get that closed in. All right, there you have it. We have it closed in, and now I just got to apply some of the easy sand, the hot mud on the flanged edge on the butt side, and then we'll be good to go to tape this. Well, another thing that I did here, because I've got to put metal corners on inside and outside of the shower door here, is I went ahead and I boxed in with sheetrock the entire opening, including the base. So that way I can put up the corner bead on this as well. So the shower, like I said, is only going to get one coat of mud, and I'll just sand this down and it'll be ready to go, because I got to put some waterproofing membrane in there. We're going to build the pan for this and some other stuff. So the shower is a whole nother monster project, but I want to get the corner bead on this so that way we can move away from the mud and tape. So one of the tasks I still have is to put the corner bead in and around the shower door. So now that I got this all sheetrocked in here, cased in, I'll put in all the corner bead and we'll get the shower completed. All right, there you go. We got all the corner bead in around the shower. We'll let that dry, and then we'll start our mudding around it to blend it all in. But I think it looks pretty sharp all the way around, and we'll just continue on. We're making progress on all this stuff. Still haven't sanded in the shower, but I'll get to that a little bit later. That's a different project. So we'll get continuing on with our mud and tape. So I went back through the entire north side of this house and reapplied a new layer of mud over all this to give me a little bit more thickness. One thing I was trying to do is be, clean and sparing as possible, and I made things too thin. So when we sanded, you started to see the fuzz of the paper tape. So I had to add some of that. The corners seem to be okay. A few of these need some work, but we're gonna have to get to that. And then I'm also gonna have to still do all the edges on these outside corners. I still have to do all of that. So we're just gonna keep plugging away at it, but at least we got this second coat on the rest of the house. Now we gotta wait till it dries and then we'll sand that off. All right, well, we got the one corner done. It's a little messy. I'm gonna have to do some cleanup, but it's looking better. Well, as you can see, I got the ceilings done in here, and that's pretty good with the second coat. I'm using the all-purpose mud. It's just a little bit thicker, and it's giving me a little bit better results than the taping mud. So I'm just gonna keep doing that. I've got some more areas to touch up with the second coat, and then we'll be good to go to sand. We'll let this dry and then we'll sand it all down, and then we'll see what we go from there. But we've still got some work to do to get this completed. Well, the goal of this is, from everything that I've researched and looked at, is that there's 5 different levels of sheetrock finishing. It goes from 0 to 5. And we've got our 2 coats on here right now, and we're sanding that down. Like I said, I sanded between the first coat, I sanded now the second coat, and then we're gonna do a 3rd coat. So by the end of this, if I get everything achieved how I want it to, I'll be at a level 3 or 4, probably level 3, as far as finish goes, and that's as far as we're going to go. Level 5 is when you put mud on the entire walls, and for like, if you're going to have like high gloss paint or something like that, you want to go smooth wall. That's a level 5, but we're shooting for a level 3. I think we're achieving some good results here. It is tough and it is dusty for sure. I mean, you can tell I'm wearing a lot of dust, but we're getting there slowly but surely, and we'll just keep at it, and we'll get through this house. Now that I've got this room sanded on this plane here, I have to still do the mud on the quarter bead. I'm just waiting to get this done so that way everything's smooth and I can just go down it. So we'll get this. I got this side already mudded, and now I'm going to knock off this side, and we'll get the last of the quarter beads done.
Rocking her to sleep.
Alright, there we go. So I got that done, and I'll let that dry, and then we'll probably do another coat over. Well, we're going to do another coat over each side of that and then sand it down. But that's how we get the quarter beads done. Slow, but it's pretty accurate. Well, we've got our first sign of snow. And so it won't be long. We got about probably 4 or 5 more weeks, and then we'll have snow here on the ground. So we're gonna keep on keeping on and see if we can get a bunch of more stuff done before snow hits. Luckily, a lot of our work's inside this year during winter, which is a godsend since I have the fireplace.